Thank you for tuning in to Bad Boy Gaming. I'm Joey Moss, and today we're going to discuss the top 25 most valuable cards in Core Set 2019. Let's do this. Coming in at the bottom, number 25, is Angelic Guardian. It's a massive 6-drop. Angel Flyer. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, they gain indestructible until end of turn. Although that's a powerful ability, and it's on a 5/5, it is a 6-drop. Kind of steep to cast, and there's just better options right now. It's $1.90. You can only find it in your seasonal gift packs sold at Walmart, Target, and various other locations, as well as some LGSs. It's only printed ever in foil, and it's basic use, kitchen table, casual play. At 24, we have Chromium the Mutable. I had higher expectations for this card, but so far it just has failed to produce. And it is a legendary creature, Elder Dragon, which is really neat. These things go way back all the way to Legends. It has flash as well, which means you can just use it as an instant at any time. Still have to pay its casting costs, of course. It's got flying and discard a card until end of turn. Chromium the Mutable becomes a human with base power and toughness 1/1. Loses all abilities and gains a hexproof. It can't be blocked this turn. It is on a massive 7/7 body. Pretty neat. When it first came out, it had Rampage. And what Rampage is whenever this creature becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn for each creature blocking it beyond the first. It has a hefty $35 price tag currently in mint condition. These cards recently soared in price. All the Elder Dragon Legend cards, the original ones, the Legends, not the reprinted ones in Chronicles, they were going for a fraction of this cost. I think this one might have been $5 about a year and a half ago. And it's all the way at $35 now, so there's definitely been a lot of interest in these older cards. At 23, we have Elvish Clancaller for just $2. I'd have to say it's amazing Elf Lord, but it's vulnerable to just about every form of removal. Elvish Clancaller is 2 to bring out. Elf Druid. Other elf you control get +1/+1. Its neat ability is you can just go and dig for more of these by paying 6 and tapping it. You search your library and get more Clancallers out. Really neat card. In elf decks, it's going to take off in standard as long as elves have the right cards they need. We'll see. Next up, we have Supreme Phantom. It's a deuce drop. $2.01. Lord of the Spirits. That's right. It is a spirit. Flying and other spirits you control get +1/+1. The interesting thing about this, it's the second time this card's ever seen a +1/+1. Second card like it ever to be printed like this. To add out just for spirits. The first one was Long Forgotten Go High. 3-drop arcane spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and spirit creatures you control get +1/+1. So really neat that it's the second card ever printed, giving spirits +1/+1. Death Baron, sitting at $2.25, first appeared in Shards of Alara back in 2008. And prior to its reprint, this card was well over $20. It's a zombie wizard. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have death touch 2/2. For it to take off in standard, it's going to need some more zombie support. Really neat card though. Probably my favorite zombie. $3. That's right. Only $3. Liliana Untouched by Death. Still looking for its home really, but it's going to need some zombie support. Its +1's not bad. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. If at least one of them is a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. The life gain and drain is pretty neat there. It's -2, target creature gets -X till end of turn, where X is the number of zombies you control. Again, definitely going to need some zombie support for this thing to really take off in standard. -3, you may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. There is an infinite combo with this and Walking Ballista and a couple other cards. Pretty neat, but just not there yet. But I will be expecting this card to rise in price once it finds some kind of home. Tezzeret, Cruel Machinist. Exclusive only to those Planeswalker decks, where you can find those at your LGS or your Walmarts and Targets and what have you. These things have recently gone up in price, though. Tezzeret, Cruel Machinist being one of the lesser sought-after ones. It's a 6-drop +1. You get to draw a card. It's 0 until your next turn. Target artifact you control becomes a 5/5 creature in addition to its other types. It's -7. Put any number of cards from your hand onto the battlefield face down. They're 5/5 artifact creatures. Starts at a 4 loyalty, but because these Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers they're just too much to bring out in my opinion, and that's the reason why they're just not going to see too much play. This one's really neat though. $3.95. It's exclusive to the seasonal gift packs. The gift packs contain 5 of these types of creature cards, and this may actually, in my opinion, see some play. It actually already has. I've even included it in a deck, and that deck did pretty well. I think it blew out the tournament that it was in, or the event on Magic the Gathering Arena. It's a 7-drop trample. Whenever Rampaging Bronodon attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each land you control. Again, it's only available in foil. Pretty sweet though. This thing can be attacking for like 16/16. It gets nuts. Vivian of the Arkbow. $4.25. Again, exclusive to Planeswalker decks. Got amazing artwork, but that's really about it on it. As you can see, its abilities are just pretty weak. It's a 6-drop. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. It's -3. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. That is neat, but you can only really use it once, and then it's dead unless you can really utilize the +2 ability. -9 is fun. Creatures you control get +4/+4 and gain trample, but it's only until end of turn. Oh yeah, and someone's selling this on eBay right now. $2.30 actually is the price. 280 is an error there. Just thought I'd point that out. Cheapest I found it anywhere. Arcades the Strategist, currently at $4.38. Captain Defender. Remember Captain Planet? That was fun. It's a legendary creature, Elder Dragon, with flying and vigilance. You're going to see this just in your wall builds. It's a 3/5, which is great because it makes it a little more difficult to remove. It's just outside of like your lightning strikes, and you'd have to like lightning strike and shock this thing. Or basically you're going to have something in black to remove it or something to counter it, in blue. Those kind of goes on there, but I do expect this card to go up in value because we are seeing those defender decks now. There's more cards able to aid walls to make them attack with their power, or with their toughness rather than their power. They're swapping out the two. Pretty neat. Expect them to go up in price. Banefire. This card's been around for a while, making its first appearance in Conflux way back in 2009. It is a control player's nightmare. Banefire deals X damage on any target. If X is 5 or more, the spell can't be countered and the damage can't be prevented, which is pretty sweet. Gotta love Banefire, and I enjoy the artwork as well. Cleansing Nova, $4.53. Choose one. Destroy all creatures or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Everyone likes options, that's for sure. One of the best board wipes in its current standard, which is right now. I want to say this wrong just for fun. Omniscience. Omniscience is $5.46. Enchantment. You may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Once this card is in play, you can basically empty your hand for free. It works well in control, draw, tutor decks. Downside is you cannot cast X spells. If only they made some kind of stipulation for cards like this, it would be phenomenal with the X cost, but they just don't have them. Pretty cool card. It does see some play in Commander as well. Tezzeret, Artifice Master, $6.77. Definitely overvalued upon release. This thing was going for, I think, $22 at one time. Still looking for a home. There's better options in the current standard meta with Carnage of Fury for sure. Legendary Planeswalker for +1. Create a 1/1 colorless top-tier artifact creature token with flying. It's 0, draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, draw 2 cards instead. -9, you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. Search your library for a permanent card, put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. We'll see. It's going to need a lot of help to really take off. Ajani Wise Counselor. This is another one that's only available in foil in those Planeswalker decks, but it could end up seeing more play soon. It's actually a neat card. It's a 5-drop and starts at 5 loyalty on it. You gain 1 life for each creature you control. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn, and put X +1/+1 counters on target creature where X is your life total. Definitely love the artwork on this one. I like how now they have the Planeswalker cards. They shoot below these borders here. Pretty neat stuff. Liliana the Necromancer. Another one of those exclusive only to the Planeswalker decks. $8.37. Legendary Planeswalker. Target player loses 2 life for +1. It's pretty cool. You drain your opponent and you're increasing your loyalty counters on your Planeswalker. It's -1. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Imagine if that -1 said battlefield. Ooh, brokenness. -7. Destroy up to 2 target creatures. Put up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That's pretty sweet. They're dropping 2 creatures. You're gaining 2 creatures. Not a bad little trick. Sarkhan Dragon Soul, $9.55. I didn't realize it was that expensive, but it really is. These kind of cards are legal in standard, but they seldom see any kind of play because the higher casting costs of these Planeswalkers. So they're probably not going to be they're never too impactful in standard. Available only in foil. Sarkhan Dragon Soul deals 1 damage to each opponent, and each creature your opponent controls. It's -3. Dragon Soul deals 4 damage to target player or Planeswalker. It's -9 is neat, though. Search your library for any number of dragon creature cards and put them onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Pretty sweet. Escape Shift. Only a few cards that have a deck named after it. And this is one of them. Sacrifice any number of lands, search your library for up to that many land cards, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. I will be expecting this card to go up. I know when it first dropped, it got the reprint. It was going for, I think, $14, $15, and it shot up and down to $6. So I would be expecting this one to go up. This is probably one of the lowest points you'll see the 2019 version for $6.72. Sarkhan Fireblood, arguably one of Sarkhan's best Planeswalker cards. It's +1. You may discard a card. If you do draw a card, it's other +1. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors or spend this mana to cast dragon spells. It's nice to ramp up to get your dragons on the battlefield really quick. And that -7 can basically end games. Great 4/5/5 red dragon creature tokens with flying. Starts at 3 loyalty counters. It's at $11.58. Pretty cool. A Johnny Adversary of Tyrants. Another Johnny card. I just love the artwork on these. $11.54. There's 2 ofs in many decks you'll see, especially in those white weenies. You'll find them in sideboards and sometimes in the main. But to put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, you can return a creature with converted mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield for its -2, and it's -7. You get 3 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink at the beginning of every end step. Pretty badass. Crucible of Worlds, $12.45. Artifact. You may play land cards from your graveyard. This thing goes good with the Escape Shift card. First print was in 5th Dawn back in 2004 in Mirrodin block. It sees plays in decks that benefit from the sacrifice, the graveyard, land interaction kind of stuff. Pretty neat. Also see a little bit of Plan Commander. Resplendent Angel, 3-drop. Beautiful card. I remember when I pulled a foil of this, I flipped out. It's got the flying at the beginning of each end step. If you gain 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. It's 6 though. Until end of turn, Resplendent Angel gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. This thing's always targeted immediately. If there was like 4 cards on the board and this was one of them that's white, this card's going to die first. It's easy to remove because of its 3 toughness, but still $14.16, pretty decent price for it. Vivian Reed, $19.59. Came out very underappreciated. It was only at, I think, $6, and now it's all the way at about $20. First time making an appearance on a card. Vivian, yes, oh yes. Its ultimate is every mono green player's dream. It's -8. You get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2, and have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. It's nuts. The +1 really is what makes this card, because you're looking at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you're able to put a creature or land card from among them right into your hand. Not on the top of your deck, but right into your hand. That's what makes this card really, really good. And the destruction of artifacts, enchantments, and creatures with flying, huge perk as well. Nicole Bolas. We have arrived all the way at our number 2 spot. Nicole Bolas the Ravager, $21.45. Definitely one of the most powerful Elder Dragon cards ever printed. One of the most powerful Planeswalker cards ever printed. And first Bolas card, it was printed way back in Legends in '94. I'll show you that in a second here. Really neat 4/4 to bring out. When Bolas the Ravager enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. That I found is huge in matchups alone. But then if you pay 7, you're able to transform Bolas into the Arisen. And this thing is just, it's busted once you can flip it. +2, draw 2 cards. -3, the Arison deals 10 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It's -4, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That's nuts. -12 is funny. Exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. You got to be kidding me. It's too funny. The flip version... Oh, sorry. Skipped a little ahead. Nicole Bolas. Here's the original one. During its time, these Elder Dragons did not see much play outside of casual. Back then, like a 7/7 flyer was godlike. If Bolas damaged you, it's basically game over. But look at the casting cost on this thing. It's got flying, and an opponent damaged by Nicole Bolas must discard entire hand. Ignore this effect if opponent has no cards left in hand. Pay 3 during your upkeep. Nicole Bolas is buried. These cards drastically rose in price. Just like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, this thing was like $30 only, $25, and it just skyrocketed recently. Over 100. You want to find like a gem mint one, you're looking at a few $100 on this. Our number one spots, yeah, that's right. You snuck a peek first. Nexus of Fate, who would have thunk it? Exclusive only to buy a box promo. And it's only in foil print, that's it. And definitely one of the most hated cards. Probably ever printed in Magic. Maybe not ever, but definitely in this current standard. For 7, it's an instant, take an extra turn after this one. If Nexus of Fate would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal Nexus of Fate and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. This thing doesn't go away. That's the problem. It just never goes away. And if you're running the right control deck, it's never going away. You combo it with like Teferi, and it just gets stupid bonkers. Just control your opponent to death and win the game. That's the ultimate goal when you're running Nexus of Fate. Thank you, everyone, very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, by all means, go ahead and do so. You don't see me do a lot of edits. You know, I made a mistake earlier. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. I like to give you guys the real raw Joey Moss. Thanks for watching, guys. PLA.